I picked up this Atari 800 XL, a wonderful Atari 8-bit computer that is a little crusty, quite a bit dirty, nice and yellowed, for a relatively low amount from the eBay, um, listed as untested for parts. What I want to do now is let's untest it by testing it and seeing if we can't get this thing working. And if we can get it working, then bring it up to snuff and kind of get it looking like a really nice piece of Atari. Let's get to it.
Okay, the first thing to do with this Atari 800 XL is to run the self-test, running it through its paces, testing out the keyboard, then testing out the audio and the video, and then running the test on the RAM and the ROM. It works great. There's no issues with this Atari 800 XL. Everything is working. Sold as untested for parts. This turned out great. Easy. Of course, now that the self-test is done, the next thing to do is to test a game, of course. This is Jungle Hunt cartridge, obviously, and to see if this works. Obviously, it's working still as well and looks great. I'm not the best at playing this game, but it works fine, and it's actually a fun game. What you can see is this is composite video out at the moment and not S video, so you may not be able to see it as clearly as I can, but it's a bit blurry. Yes, and I'm not good at jungle hunt, as you can see. I think I get too impatient when jumping between the vines. Okay, let's move from jungle hunt to an Ultima. This is Ultima 3. As you can see, the video is a little messed up. The colors are a little inverted, as well as a little off. We got brown for the water and blue for the mountains as well as the forests. Whereas if we were inverted, it would be a little bit better. All right, now we move into the disassembly aspect of this guy. Let's take it apart. We're going to do a lot of disassembly. Take it down to the piece parts and then start cleaning it out and do a couple of, well, one modification to it. All right, just take out that ribbon cable for the keyboard. Be careful with that. That's delicate. Now we're just taking in a couple screws. There's only two here to remove the motherboard and the shielding intact. Once we get that out, I just pull it out. It comes out. It's a little bit of snug push to get this thing out, but got it out just fine. Removing the shielding on the top and the bottom. Actually, just unscrewing these things. It's interesting. They're attached in different ways on the different Atari 800 XLs that I've had. All right, let's pull that off. Bada bing, bada bang. Sorry about the autofocus. I mean, it looks pretty clean on the bottom side. All right, taking the top RF shielding off as well. The RF shielding does a great job keeping these boards clean. Okay, I'm in Ultima Exodus again, and now what I'm doing is I'm working on trying to adjust the color, and you're going to see me kind of twist through that uh, uh, variable resistor there, and just playing around with the color, and kind of you can kind of see how that works out, right? I'll eventually get to adjusting it at the end and getting it all perfect, but this is a process that you can do while playing around with the computer. Now we're going to do the S-Video mod. They're connecting just 2 points here on the board. Very, very simple. I'm adding a little bit of solder to both of those points. I don't think I video recorded the other point adding solder to it. But you just simply connect one wire. Boom. There. Up on the video port out. And this is at the end of a resistor on the top side of the board, that is. I just put a little Kapton tape to hold it in place so it doesn't wiggle around too much, cause any issues that way. Boom, hold it in place. Just disassembling the keyboard now. One screw at a time. Now all four screws, boom, done. This is one dirty keyboard, but the membrane is obviously working. We're just going to totally disassemble the whole thing so that we can actually clean the keyboard and the individual keys relatively easily. Taking out all of the tiny little screws, pull it off, boom, there you have the membrane under there. Now this is taking off the brown part of the case. So it's a two-part case. It's a little difficult to get these screws. They're pretty tight in there, but this allows me to actually clean underneath and clean all parts of it. And if I wanted to retrobrite it, I want to do the same thing as well, removing that brown part so that I could actually get the whole thing. And here we are, just kind of just popping it off. It just snaps off basically and snaps back on when you want to put it back on, but you can kind of see this. Boom, there it goes, off. There you go. Now, this the fun thing here is the cartridge port. It still had the film, the plastic film on it. Kind of cool, in good shape. Actually, as you see it, once we peel it off, it actually looks really darn good. This part right here is just the little clear smoke glass piece here. Just again, making sure getting everything apart so we can get a good cleaning on it. All the parts of the All right, the back plate of the keyboard as well as some of the RF shielding has some rust spots on it. So this is just me sanding those rust spots off. I'm not going to recoat it with any paint or anything like that. I just want to get the rust off and then just rinse it off. This is just a nice little wet sponge. Did I get do a perfect job? No, but I got a little bit better. Again, just taking it the next step further, just cleaning off a little more of that rust here and there. Some of the most egregious parts of rust there on the board. And now just moving on to the case, the smoked glass part. Now the brown part of the case as well. This is just me cleaning it off. This was a pretty filthy case. It looked like it sat in a garage or an attic for many years. So getting out the grime and grunge stuff on there. I like using a magic erasers just because it helps to get the little marks off more easily. Various different pen marks or scuffs that the cases may have. It really does a great job of that. And I don't push too hard on it because I'm obviously not trying to damage the texture. Moving the bottom case, nice and simple. Again, I do try to keep the water away from the label on the bottom. As you can see, want to keep it looking good. All right, so I don't think I recorded me totally disassembling the keyboard. I took most of it out, but this is me cleaning the back plate of the keyboard, not the metal back plate, but the plastic back plate. All the grime and grunge in between the keys, getting that all taken care of. And then we just move on to here's it all done. Everything all cleaned, dried off, ready to reinstall. It looks a heck of a lot better than it did to begin with. The keycaps back on, nice and simple. One of the things I really love about the Atari 800 XLs, and I've said this before in other videos where I've worked on these, I love how robust these things are. In relationship to the Atari ST, Atari XEs, and other computers that I've worked with, the 800 XL is a pretty robust. It's a nice mix between the robust of the 800, but not quite so crazy and overbuilt like the 800 and 400 are. Do not just pull off the mylar and fling this thing around, this part of the keyboard. These small springs, they will disappear really quick. It is a pain in the butt to get those, to find those. The one thing that goes the most frequently on these 800 XLs actually is what you see here, the mylar. And what it just wears out in certain areas over time. And that can cause certain keys to start losing their capabilities, right? One of the nice things about the 800 XL keyboard or keyboard Mylar is that there are replacements, modern replacements available. This is just me testing it out. Again, I'm paranoid. I don't want to put this thing back together and totally put all the screws back in place, the tons of little screws, without it working. And as you can see, it works just fine as I go through the keyboard test again. That color just, ugh, that green color is terrible. We'll work that out and fix that in a little bit. There are a bunch of different types of keyboards for the 800XL. I think there's even a nice mechanical version. The only kinds that I have right now are these Mylar style. They work fine. All right, once you get this RF shielding back on the motherboard here, you have to get this thing back, kind of finagle it back into the case at a bit of an angle. It's a little bit of an art, but as you can see, if you get it right, I usually try to go to the SIO port and the joystick ports first. Once you get those in place, it just kind of slides in. And bada bing, bada bang, put this thing back in place. Another thing I do like to do when I'm putting this reconnecting the keyboard is having the top case with the keyboard lying right on the side next to it, on the side of it. It makes it very easy to just stretch that Mylar over without actually having to contort anything. And then you just close it like a clamshell. And voila, you're done. Now we're going to look at the adjusted screen. This is with the S Video, a lot cleaner screen. You have to do the hello world. Now moving on to the next test, we're looking at Ultima 4. This is one of the last things I wanted to do, is just get the colors right, right? I don't want to have green water, brown water, and blue forests and such, blue trees. And so there's some things you can do. First off, you can kind of see what it looks like just natively, based on how it's set up right now. And we're on S Video. I have to swap it. Yeah, move it over to AV, so you get the colors. Hello, wave hello to us, to everyone here in the reflection here as it boots up. And what you will see is you will see some weird colors. We got green water, we'll have green water and blue forests. So how do you fix that? In the Ultima 4 on the Atari 8-bit line, you hold down Control X while it's booting up. And that gives you the option to actually invert the colors. Now, as you can see here, I'm booting it up, holding Control X. We'll eventually get to a screen as it loads up that will ask which color looks blue. It'll show you two colors, and then you select the color that looks blue, and it will adjust and adapt the coloration of the game. There you go. Simple as that. So type no, and there we go. And we have to end on the positive note of showing Ultima 4. This is a really simple video. This computer was working fine, but I figure I had enough footage of it. I might as well just share this with you. It's a good, easy fix. These computers are pretty robust, not that hard to fix. And the big reveal is blue water, green trees. It looks good. All right, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Have a great day. Bye-bye.